Hi, Alexa. Yep. How you doing today? It's Robert Miller. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. I know I certainly did. And we're going to get right down to it. And I seem to be getting a lot of questions. I'll put it that way. A lot of questions, messages on Messenger and Facebook, because a lot of people that follow me know I'm on Facebook quite a bit, not just to jack around, but Facebook is a great source of information. So what am I going to be talking about today? Well, the biggest thing that people seem to be asking me a lot about is they do know myself, they do know what I talk about, they do know what I represent, and I cut right to the chase and get right to the point. But a lot of times people want to know what's my background, how did I end up here, and how do they start? Well, let me tell you, that's what this is all about today. You know, a lot of people say, to get attention, I lost my job, I got furloughed, I got laid off, the company went bankrupt, I went bankrupt, I had to start over. Well, everybody, it really comes down to the same thing. You lost your job. Now, at the age of 47, I lost my job. Um, and then I started my own business. Now, how it worked was is that recently I've been getting all these messages from people of all demographics from all over the different areas of the world, including New Zealand, some people from Australia, some people from South Carolina, some people from the UK. I've talked to quite a few times. And they're all asking the same thing, is that, how do I get started? What business should I do? Should I do affiliate marketing? But here's the thing, is that I will tell everybody and everybody right off the bat, is that I will never advise someone about something that I have never experienced or done myself. Example, if I have not bought and used or tried this so-called $5,000 system or program, I'm not going to promote it. It has to be something that I've done myself or something that I've experienced, and I give the results directly to you, okay? Now, in a world that is saturated with self-proclaimed experts, these thought leaders and executive coaches, we are beginning to understand through disappointment. We're all getting disappointed because we're not getting the results we want, and the promises are just falling through left and right. And that's really hard to find someone who you can trust and rely upon, okay? Been there, done it. Like I've mentioned before, I have spent over $30,000 on programs, systems, software, you name it. I've tried several different things, not all of them, obviously, but I found something finally that worked for what I needed for. So, what I'm getting is that those self proclaimed experts, okay, they might have a lot of knowledge, but here's the thing, they lack the wisdom. Now, how do you determine wisdom? It's not the same as knowledge. And I'm going to explain it to you the best way I can. When people have knowledge without experience, it is just a philosophy. But if you have knowledge and experience, then you have the wisdom. Do you understand what I'm saying? The difference of? So a lot of these self-proclaimed experts, these gurus that are out there, they have all this knowledge. Now, it's not easy. It's not hard to get the knowledge. It's full of it all over YouTube for free. But if you don't have the knowledge and the experience, how can you have the wisdom and say you are the expert in this when you have never ever experienced it? Big importance right there, okay? That's why all these self-proclaimed people that say they're the expert in, they're more or less brand advocates. I see it all the time in Facebook groups. I need brand advocates, but they don't let you guinea pig their software or their program or their whatever it may be. unless you buy the thing. That's the difference between knowledge and wisdom. Okay. Now, right now, it's no longer just about what you know, it's what you do with what you know. Okay. So, anyway, getting back to what do I do? Now, people have been messaging me. They say to me, now, I see your live workshops regularly. I never thought that I'd be in the same situation that you have been in. I'm hoping that you can help me grow my business. How can I handle this situation, or how do I contact you, or okay? So anyway, back in 2011, I lost my long-term job. It was a very large consulting company. They're worldwide, and I'm not going to mention their name. And I had a C-level position with those guys. Now, over time, when you're working for a lot of these large corporations, my situation was a consulting company, is that I was on contract. I was able to go, my choice, anywhere in the world. But because I was contract and I worked here locally in Vancouver, Canada, unless I decided to go overseas to keep working with the company, of which I was not willing to do, my job was redundant. It was no longer needed because the contract here in Vancouver was done. And there was no other place for me to go to. So here's the big thing. I was 47 at the time. Okay. I started getting a lot of anxiety, and I was not sure if I was going to be able to get rehired at that time. I wasn't up for retirement yet. But my biggest concern was at age 47, who's going to hire somebody like me at my age? I could have all the education and experience in the world, a lot of wisdom, but I've been offered jobs at the time where I was offered job not even half of what I was making with that consulting company. It's not a question of greed. It's a question of um, you get very insecure when you lose your job at that age. So I began all the research. I started looking here. I started looking there, and once I had decided what I thought was a good fit for me, I did it. I went out and I began building my business at that time. Now, the thing is that when we all start out in any business model, anywhere in the world, we make mistakes. We mess up. There's no question about it. But I kept educating myself. I kept buying shiny object syndrome stuff, wasting a ton of time, ton of money, never made one dime, not one dime. But I kept going and educating myself. And I learned as I went along, obviously. There's a lot of rough times to get through, but I was determined to keep going. And I had the support with my family too. That helped a lot also. Now, like I was mentioning, after wasting a lot of time and money, and I'm guessing about 30,000 plus dollars. Don't have the full figure because I'm trying to put it out of my head. Is that everything finally came into place? I was buying an autoresponder. I was buying a funnel builder. I was buying this, but I had no idea how to put all these things together. And then all of a sudden, one day when I realized how these pieces of the puzzle put together by me testing this and testing that and losing all this time and money. Right now, I own a small agency. Okay, that's what I do. I own a small agency and I run the business out of my home. As you can tell from my background, I don't want to show a fancy Lamborghini because I don't have that. I don't have a big 30 million or $50 million mansion because I don't need that. What I have and what I offer is what's up here and what I've experienced, like I said previously. So, like I was saying, is that these people that are messaging me, they're all sorts of people, young, middle aged, older people that are saying, because I've lost my job, I've been furloughed, I'm never going to get rehired because of my age. There's so many, like I said, don't know what's behind the curtain kind of program. And there's so much mistrust on the internet. Now, biggest thing is that um, These requests that I get from people asking for help, these really are enlightening to me. They make me feel like I can actually help somebody that really wants to help. So many jobless rates that are out there right now all over the world, and the bankruptcies. It's a record year, 2020, for bankruptcies. More and more people are going to starting an online business, but where do you start? How do you start? Do you need a domain? Do you need this? Do you need that? Now, we all got to pay bills. We all got to pay rent. We all got to pay mortgages. We maybe got car payments. I don't know. You got a family to take care of. But I realized pretty quickly that I was building relationships all over the world through Facebook Messenger, people that were reaching out to me for help when I do these live workshops, okay? Now, here's the thing, okay? When you see somebody that's promoting a system or product that says you can make $1,000 a day, now this is the key, is that what I talk about for me, my life and my business is not a blueprint for everybody. It's not. You have to create your path for your business, for your knowledge and your experiences. And right now your timing is perfect right now to start a new business, because you don't have to really pivot. And I'm going to give you some valuable information that I just came across this morning. You got to do your research. Never, ever underestimate your abilities. And nobody has the same skills that I have. These skills that I have learned to be able to go live on so many different platforms and show my true personality, these are things that are natural for me. I do public speaking. I go to other speaking engagement. There's a big TEDx talk that I'm going to in a couple, 3 weeks, I believe it is. And the thing is that not everybody has the same skills as everybody else. That's why I'm saying, when you look at a product for $2,500 or $5,000, it worked for the person that created it. It doesn't mean it's going to work for you. And I'm not saying you have to reinvent a product or service. You don't have to reinvent a system. You take these pieces of the puzzle without having to buy everything, and you put something together, a model that works for you. Now, some of you might get a little bit PO'd at me for saying that, but it's real. You got to do your research. Don't buy stuff you don't know anything about. You got to do your research. Now, here's the thing is that too, the number one rule that I go by is, if anybody is asking you to do them a favor, regardless of who it is, what it is, and when they're asking you for a favor, they're asking you to do the favor based on their terms. This is a big no-no. And why do I say that? Because what they're asking you to do is only going to be applicable for them. So they're going to want you to do the favor for them on their terms. Never, ever do that. If these people are not willing to do the work themselves, how do they expect to start their own business? As an example, people ask me, how do I start a new business? I'm going to ask them, well, what have you done for research? What have you done for looking into your research? Have you established any type of data together to give you a good idea what you're looking at? And if they haven't done any of that, then they're not taking the business serious enough to actually do it, because they're asking you to do the favor, to give them the data, to give them the information, like, what niche do I need to go into? They're going to expect you, hey, can you do me a favor to find out what business is good? Then you're doing the work for them. No way. These people are going to be very pushy, and they know they're going to be very pushy. When anybody's trying to negotiate with you to do you a favor, you to do them a favor, they know they're being pushy, and they know that they are pushing their luck because they don't want to do the work. And it's harsh to say again, the world is not about them. They got to do the work. Simple. You got to learn how to set your boundaries with people in business. No, there's no question about it. So the quickest way to think about this is just say no. You got to keep finding that muscle and flex that muscle and set your boundaries to people that are asking if they can do me a favor, because I don't know how to do it. Well, We all don't know how to do anything when we're starting out. That's why it's called doing your own homework, doing your research. It's just like preparing for an exam. So you're going to hear this over and over again. Success in business is all about emotion and personalities. Take it out of business. Business decisions are made on emotion, and the majority of the time they don't work out. But always trust your instincts. If it's saying to you, say no, do it. Say no. And make it known that you do not like to talk about business on your personal time. Somebody contacted me yesterday, and they wanted to talk business. And no, I gave them the information they wanted, thinking it was just going to be a quick answer they were asking me. And then they wanted to carry on the conversation. No, 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 no. My weekend time is my family time, and I value my family time. When I'm available for business, like I am right now, that's the time for me to do business. But otherwise than that, no, don't bug me on my weekends, because that's my family time. So this happens at dinner parties. This happens at, all kinds of events. But if it's your personal time, you take it as personal time. And it's the same thing as when I say to people, I do not discuss business out of business hours. So if somebody contacts me after depending on which day of the week it is, Monday to Fridays, sometimes on Fridays, I shut down at 3 o'clock. I do not do any more business past 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Doesn't matter what zone you're in the world. If it's 3 o'clock Pacific Time, or 1500 hours if you like military time, my time, no more business talk. So what I want to tell you, I want to surprise you with something today. And I was talking the other day about businesses pivoting during this COVID thing all over the world. And today is March 8th. I was just looking at my calendar here. And this article just came out this morning from the Toronto Sun, which is one of the biggest newspapers in Canada. And they're very well known for accurate data. And here's the thing, pivoting. 22% of Canadian businesses had to pivot during the pandemic. Now, according to the article, it says nearly 1/4 of Canadian business owners had to pivot during the virus to put a dent in their finances. In other words, they found that 22% of these businesses had to make changes or discover new ways to operate. And that ranges anywhere from marketing to going from only being a brick and mortar to actually moving it onto an online business, expanding their present business to offer more products or services. This is important, people. I talked about this, I believe it was Wednesday, about pivoting. Do you know when to pivot? Do you know how to pivot? What is a pivot? This is happening everywhere, all over the world. You have to pivot if you have to. If your business is not doing well, you got to figure out how to pivot. And the biggest thing is that a lot of people with this e-com, they're taking advantage of the e-com right now. There's rumors going around about Amazon. There's rumors going around about, Google stores, and you got to be aware of all these things. But when it comes right down to it, this proves, articles coming out that you have to pivot when you have to pivot. Don't wait, just do it. Now, I'm not going to be having a live workshop as scheduled tomorrow morning at 10:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Why? Because I have that other workshop that's a private group, which, by the way, has sold out. And I'm going to be conducting that live workshop on a different platform. And so I am not going to be here tomorrow morning for the live workshop as what you see right now. I'm going to be in a private group doing another live workshop that is private. So I'm just announcing I'm not going to be here tomorrow. I'm going to be doing this other live workshop. And if you're wondering what that other live workshop is about, it's going to be talking about the actual details, nuts and bolts of the new marketing that's going on. It's nothing new. It's nothing nothing that nobody knows how to do. But the thing is, the question is, how do you do it organically? How do you do things on autopilot? How do you do? And there's an announcement about this software, SaaS software that's been released. And you know something, a lot of people are asking me, what's this software? What is this new software? What is this autopilot lead generating thing? Well, it's got to do with Messenger and it's got to do with Facebook, and it's an autopilot. And it's very cheap. It's similar to a platform called Pepper. Pepper's a great product. There's no question about it. It's been around for a while, and Pepper is quite well known in the marketplace. So it's similar to Pepper, except it's not $249 US every month. So anyway, if you are interested in finding out more about this new software, SaaS programming, software as a service, if you didn't understand, but contact me. And that's all for today. And I hope you all have a wonderful day. And it's sunny here in Vancouver, Canada. I hope it's you're staying healthy and safe for all this. So anyway, my name is Robert Miller with Miller Education Ventures, and that's my background about how I lost my job 10 years ago. And if you have any questions or concerns, you can email me at support@millereducationventures.com.